Hey, what's up, guys? This is episode 2 of the Reddit Help. Hope you guys enjoyed the first one, and let's get into this one. So, this guy actually is not really having a bad time with smoking, even though he's in the Leaves subreddit, which is full of people trying to quit smoking. Um, but he feels like he's not talking rubbish, or that he actually feels like he's gaining consciousness after smoking. And he's asking, what should I do? I presume he's like in the earlier stages of smoking, which is very nice. So I don't want to ruin his mood. So I'm just like, keep on doing what feels good to you, man. Only advice I can give is to remain honest with yourself and listen to people around you if things get out of control. So I think that's pretty basic advice, and for every smoker out there, people around you are starting to say like, hey dude, we only see you smoking or stoned, it's usually an indication that there might be more to it than you are believing or thinking. So I hope he has something about this comment, and let's get to the next one. So we have this guy here who's making an interesting claim. He says like, being an adult is better than being a kid, and I guess it has some truth in there. He says people always say that being a kid is the best and you're not gonna be as happy when you grow up. I'm adult now, but everything is definitely better than before. Now I have choices, freedom, my own money, skills to handle different emotions. Care less about how others think. Basically anything I can think of is better than when I'm a kid. Being a kid is a worse. I guess he maybe didn't have the best growing up, as I assume that he's saying it's the worst. I don't think it's definitely not the worst. So I wouldn't say being a kid is the worst. There definitely were some great times that I hold dear. Obviously, growing up is nice and all, with having more money, responsibilities, and goals, though each phase has its own benefits and drawbacks. I think the main part of why people say they want to be a kid again is because time only goes forward, which we immediately realized which I immediately realized when I will not talk for everybody when I graduated. All right, let's post this one. So here we have a guy, basically addicted to weed. He says it's ruining his life. He's still a high schooler, and he feels like he's giving up on his own dream to play guitar, because he's been smoking nonstop for the last year. He's gonna start college soon, so he wants to know how he can change his behavior. And there were some good comments already, which I upvoted. So basically, I want to add a bit of my own experience in here. So I say I would start with analyzing what situations, behavior, social settings trigger you into smoking, usually being alone and having nothing to do, and what other interests you might have in life. Afterwards, it is easier for you to try inhibit bad behavior by making it harder to manifest express this through adding additional steps like hiding weed or not buying when you're out, and try to go try to go sober for a few days and feel what you are missing. That it's important that you also realize that the steps you want to take to reach your goals, and try to mold this into positive habits. Usually you want to make them as easy as possible so that you get started faster, and this way the ball gets rolling. For your information, I'm not sober all the time, so take what I say with a grain of salt. Good luck. I forgot with the previous things. Was a kind of tactic I'm trying out with signing off personally. So like this. So people recognize when I'm writing something, like Benj is not a very familiar name. Good luck. Last note, you got this feeling very early, so do believe in yourself that you will be able to change this to the way you want it to be. Alright, that's it. So we have a different one here. The post is already being deleted, but basically a mom and her daughter that having a little fight about she telling her that she lost her virginity, even though she said she could talk with her about anything. So now they're like a bit disgruntled about each other and maybe not talking with each other. So I'm basically saying you both are not the assholes. A bit weird that your mother would blame shame you for such thing as she made similar choices. As she seemingly, these are good words to govern yourself, seemingly made similar choices herself, but that doesn't mean she is the asshole either. I think you both care about each other and a lot and want the best for each other, so she's maybe a bit disappointed. So maybe she's a bit disappointed about you making a similar choice as she might made early on. I think this is just part of life and you will talk it out soon with her. Don't worry. Just give her some time and room, but remember that you're also not in the wrong here, so both sides should have more understanding of each other. Hope this helps, Badge. Alright, so this one is a little small one. Unpopular opinion. A guy that likes to eat food that's cold. So he's saying I haven't got sick so far, and it's always cooked beforehand, so I don't think it's not frozen either. So I don't think it inherently is that bad for your well-being. Just don't overdo it with things like meat, dairy, all these things. So I'm also kind of interested in your favorite food to eat cold. So, yeah. So yeah, this guy is somebody who is struggling with porn addiction and he's been clean for 2 weeks, which is a huge thing, I think, especially when you're like 10 years in. So I don't want to. He didn't provide much details or whatever or any questions. So I'm just gonna positively reinforce him. I like how you don't really feel too ashamed to talk about this, which you shouldn't, as everyone has their vices/demons. Doing good, I believe in you, my brother, Badge. This guy is basically saying that we are all acting a bit fake, and that misanthropy is just logical, basically not wishing the best for somebody else. So he says the way we act as a worldwide species isn't advanced. We're all fighting for relevance and thinking it's for some moral cause, when really we're trying to outcompete other humans. Morals has just become the excuse for doing that. So I don't really agree with what he's saying. It's also like he's trying to make two different points, and thinking it's the same or something. So I try the sandwich methods here. We start with something positive, interesting point you're making here. I do think it's a good topic to talk about. I have a few remarks that I find difficult to get behind. I have a few remarks that I about certain things I find difficult to get behind. So first remark, what is an advanced species for you? I don't believe we have encountered anything that could be used as a reference here. And the second one, I think models have less to do here, because we as a species do agree upon certain things like not killing each other, etc. But that doesn't mean survival of the fittest is gone. I feel like it's more of a resource gathering game instead of directly out-competing each other. Please let me know what you think about these two remarks, as I do like your approach to this subject here. So basically positive, the hamburger, and then the sandwich again. So let's post this one. Boom. Alright, so the guy that asked for advice about his high school years that he's ruining responded, I'm a very anxious person, so I saw weed as a way to loosen up, which it did work. In fact, I think it really made it easier for me to socialize with people in certain settings, like work, for example, but I do it way too much, and I'm noticing how damaging that is. I'm noticing since I've done weed that I've felt very depersonalized. Maybe I don't want to quit it, but I definitely want to stop doing it every single day. I should treat it like a reward. I think these are very, very good observations, especially for somebody so young. And the obvious first idea you have is try to treat it like a reward. But if the reward is something you can get every day and at each moment you want, it's very difficult to keep it treating like a reward. So I would not recommend that. So I begin by, I like the way you think and analyze what is happening to you. This is definitely not something everyone picks up easily. Start off always with something positive. I think it's important that you lay out for yourself some goals you want to achieve and try to figure out what steps you need to take in between to get there. I believe weed can be a powerful motivator in some weird way, though I would definitely not recommend it using that way. Personally, I tried a similar method with little success, though everyone is different, so don't let a stranger stop you in the things you want to achieve. As to the depersonalization, I think this is exactly what weed tries to achieve for us. It is detaching yourself from things you feel and know, which sometimes can give you a more sober perspective of, wait, let me put that between brackets, more sober perspective of events or whatever. But at some point you might become the spectator that thinks he knows it all, instead of actually being someone that acts upon what he thinks or believes, speaking out of personal experience. Good luck, my friend. If you want to talk more about these topics, you might want to check out my channel. Plug it. Alright. So we got another self-improvement post here. Success Sundays. It kind of made me laugh because I'm also like obsessed. Well, obsessed is maybe a bad word, but just making fun of like different days. So this guy is actually, I think, a good guy. He's trying to get other people motivated. So I want to contribute to that. So he has 5 questions he wants us to answer. What are you working on? What did you accomplish this week? What didn't work? What can you improve? What are your goals for next week? So basically what I did for myself, but he wants it in a more Reddit kind of way. So I said I try to make weekly progress updates about what I want to achieve in my life and the goals I set for that period, week, month, all time, which I upload to my channel and rewatch it later to remind myself of what I want to achieve. 1. Currently working on a startup idea and working on myself to be a better version of myself. 2. I did the exploratory meeting with a few interested people about my startup, and I'm doing weekly videos, monthly podcasts. 3. I had difficulties with staying sober last week, mainly because of a bad first day, Monday. That is why I'm also here right now. 4. Working on filling my schedule with interesting hobbies, ideas, sports to quote-unquote distract myself, or actually to focus on the better things in my life. 5. Improving on the practical side of my startup idea and also maintaining the weekly goals as mentioned above. By the way, I do my weekly updates on Monday, as this is the hardest day for me. Match. All right, that's another one for the books. So we back with this misanthropy guy that says like, basically that we don't have the morals and that we all try to act like we're better, and I don't know. He's just a bit of a pessimistic. I don't know where his point actually is, to be honest. So I actually asked it at the end. So basically, he answered to my 2 points. According to one estimate, we are a 0.8 level form of life. At level 1 is successfully harnessing the energy from our planet. 2, the solar system. 3, the galaxy. 4, if you can get this far, the universe. So I do like this kind of estimations, or how you would say stages of how humanity could evolve. I don't think there is anything bad with that. To try to envision us on a larger scale, like, okay, where can we go? What's the maximum? What's the max our civilization could potentially evolve into? So I do believe what he's saying here. Then he goes, Hitler thought he was a good person acting on morals. So the most awful people, self-aware bad people are rare. Self-aware people in general are rare. We act out of emotion and add logic to it after. It's just saying truths. I have not yet found what he tries to disprove or something. That's at least the physical process in our brain. Animal brain are parts close to our spinal cords. That's essentially the same as other mammals. So basically he's talking about cerebellum. So cerebellum is actually this behind piece that we have here behind our brains. And this is like the animal brain that everybody's talking about. It's the thing that makes you act reflexive and do things without you noticing. So like controlling breathing and certain parts. And then we have the cortex. The part of our brain that is more advanced, bigger than mammals that we know. So indeed, our cortex is one of the largest of all species. And usually the cortex is related to being able to solve things, more complex stuff. So in the cortex, there is the more down you go in the brain, there is less room for cross-wiring, and the more you go outwards, there is more room for cross-wiring and putting in different links. So the bigger your cortex usually means the more complex things you can think about. But we've had a habit of killing off any other human species or threat. We are not the human species who was likely the most intelligent. Nothing is saying nothing that is false. Everything I want to you say is true, though. I don't fully understand the point you are trying to make. What you say about the brain is true, but the fact that we are alive and other human species are not means that we were fitter to evolve than they were. I know this is mainly because we slaughtered them, though it does not matter in nature in which way you survive. The main objective is to reproduce and make sure that your bloodline species is not threatened by anything more powerful, smarter, or whatever. I don't think it is necessarily a bad thing that we try to rationalize our emotions. I just believe that we have evolved to a point that we try to rationalize everything with too much logic, and that we are losing the essence of what made our species so flourishing. And that is because of the social aspect, putting in norms and values in place, and therefore requiring interaction and cooperation with each other. I think this really is very underestimated in our societies. Like, it is true that we didn't have the largest brain size of the humanoid species, and I think that is also not really the point here. The point is we survived, so having bigger brains, being quote-unquote smarter, was not what was being selected for in nature, obviously. cooperation, having a clan, a tribe is way more important than being the smartest guy. I don't know, but I believe like most of the smartest people in the world actually have maybe not that easy of a time connecting with other people, of interacting with other people. So this is kind of maybe a trade-off that other species made, and we had the right combination of smartness and interaction cooperation to be able to flourish. To say they were smarter humanoid species or they were the smartest is not relevant here, as nature abides by survival of the fittest and not the smartest. Don't know if this answers your question, but I do like the insights you're providing us. If you please reach out to me if you feel like talking more in depth about this, I would gladly have you on my podcast sometime. All right. I actually straight plugged somebody this time. Let's see if it works. You gotta try different things, you know. But I think this is it for me today. I've had some really interesting conversations, so I'm kind of glad that I did this. But yeah, for the YouTube frogs, you know, all those people watching me, you don't know, you know, you gotta tune in on Mondays, and then you get the real shit, the real deal, and the real thoughts. Anyways, see you guys later. Bye-bye.